What if everyone were in perfect athletic shape? Imagine waking up one morning and discovering every human on Earth now looks like a peak decathlete. No one's overweight, no one's frail, everyone's heart rate is a metronome of efficiency. Great news, right? Okay, let's ruin it with math. At rest, a typical adult burns about 1 kcal per kilogram per hour. But muscle tissue burns up to 3 times more than fat, even while you're just watching Netflix. If everyone's body fat dropped to athlete levels, around 10 to 12%, humanity's resting energy burn would rise by roughly 400 trillion extra kilocalories a day. That's the energy of detonating 7 billion kilograms of TNT daily, just to stay alive. The global food supply would run out in 2 weeks unless we triple crop yields or start eating plankton by the bucket. We'd have to re-engineer agriculture overnight. Maybe vertical farms inside skyscrapers or factories turning carbon dioxide into edible proteins like the ones NASA tested for Mars missions. The first billion-dollar startup wouldn't be a tech company. It'd be Soylent 2.0, now with actual air. Now consider climate effects. An average human gives off about 100 watts of heat at rest, like a small light bulb. If all 8 billion of us were hyper-fit, our metabolism would run hotter. Global human heat output could rise by 30 to 40%, roughly equal to the total energy consumption of the United Kingdom. Cities would literally feel warmer because the people themselves are radiating more. Urban planners might need human cooling zones, giant open-air freezers disguised as gyms. Transportation would get weird too. Sure, we'd all run marathons before breakfast, but we'd also consume more oxygen. Athletic bodies process about 40-50 liters of air per minute at peak effort. Multiply that by billions and global oxygen levels would drop measurably in enclosed spaces. Subway rides would need oxygen vents like submarines. And on planes, cabin air systems would double their flow rate just so the passengers don't pass out doing squats in the aisle. Sports? Gone. Professional athletes would vanish overnight. A middle-aged accountant could dunk from the free throw line. World records would become obsolete, maybe replaced by world coincidences. The new Olympics would have to measure creativity, not speed. Events like 100-meter sprint while balancing your taxes. Dating would implode too. Beauty standards rely on scarcity. If everyone's body is flawless, attraction shifts to something else, like how interesting your mitochondria look under a microscope. Or whether your Fitbit graph shows consistent recovery. There'd be viral posts like, he didn't just have abs, he had stable cortisol levels. Even evolution might throw a tantrum. Natural selection depends on variation. If every human is at physical peak, evolution stalls. We'd freeze the gene pool in Olympic mode, and any small mutation, say a slightly better lung capacity, would spread instantly, creating superhumans in a few generations. Humanity could diverge into Homo marathonicus. But the biggest twist? Productivity would skyrocket for about a month. Then burnout. Because an athletic body without an off switch is like a Tesla with no brakes. You'd wake up at 4 a.m., feeling energized, even if you hate mornings. Nobody could sit still long enough to code, write, or paint. Global GDP might fall just because no one wants to attend Zoom calls. They'd rather bench press the desk. In short, if everyone were in perfect shape, the world would run faster, sweat more, and run out of snacks in record time. Civilization would adapt, but awkwardly, wearing spandex and gasping for breath. So yes, we'd conquer obesity, disease, and laziness. But we'd also invent new problems, like overheating cities, oxygen shortages, and 8 billion people who can't stop jogging. Because sometimes the only thing keeping society functional is that half of us are too tired to start a revolution.